Today, we'll be taking a look at a very inefficient and needlessly complicated method of brewing coffee.
But is the frustration and inefficiency worth the taste?
Let's find out.
So the Coffee Siphon, very interesting piece of machinery, was invented in 1830 by a German scientist, I believe, and then in 1840 it was capitalized upon by a Frenchman who wanted to give a more, what would you say, novelty-oriented way of making coffee, while simultaneously keeping the coffee more pure than typical brewing methods.
So from the very beginning, this piece of equipment was never meant to be efficient. It was meant to look good and look impressive, and it was meant to impress royalty or whatever kind of people you want to impress and make it look fancy.
Yes, the girls down the abbey, the royalty down the abbey, because for some reason you spent all your money on the coffee siphon just to look cool for others.
Essentially how it works is you put the coffee down here, the flame here boils the water inside of this container. The steam comes out, it pushes the water into this, and then through scientific forces I don't fully understand, it siphons it back into the container. The whole process takes a long time and it's really kind of annoying, but we're gonna make it work.
Really, our goal here is to see that could this be something that actually warrants all the extra effort that goes into brewing your coffee through such a, what would you say, pretentious means of brewing?
Extra effort you shall get with this piece of equipment.
It's pretentious.
It's pretentious.
What do you say we get brewing?
Let's get brewing.
Let's get brewing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're all brewed up. As you can see, we've got the fountain going here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this run for just a little bit. One thing we do wanna make note of is that this lever is not very well designed. This particular part heats up and gets extremely hot, as well as this little bar that connects to the main container. The main container, of course, is scalding hot, but this is part of the design. We have to take everything into consideration.
The whole thing gets hot in places where you wish it wasn't hot.
Right.
Which makes, after you're done brewing, it makes cleaning kind of a hassle because you have to wait for it to cool down.
Right.
You can't just start handling it immediately.
One thing we do notice too is that there is a distinct metallic smell that is coming out of the brewing apparatus. Now, I know that we just brewed it, the metal is hot, there's some blackening on the bottom here. So there is that. I just hope this hasn't really affected the coffee in the way that I, might have a concern with, or we might have a concern with.
Also, the container here really doesn't hold that much fluid, so you'd be lucky if you got 2 small cups out of it. Yeah. Overall, it's not very efficient.
No, but then again, as we mentioned before, this is not entirely about efficiency, and it could be about novelty.
It's
but
about
also,
swag.
It's novelty. Yes, it's about swag. Swag? Is that
swag? It's about swag.
Is that a thing?
Or class. So initial impressions, the smell.
Oh.
I can literally smell the metal.
I can taste the metal.
Yeah, I can smell the metal.
I don't know, I'm gonna get poisoned from this, I feel.
What level of quality is this particular piece?
This, I believe, it's a Dutch coffee siphon, but the thing with this too is there are multiple companies that offer this particular coffee siphon. I don't know if what was given to me, because this was a gift, I don't know if the company that made this one is a cheaper company than some of the others perhaps, and that would be my inference. I would think it better designed were this apparatus to be made with something like copper, something that would actually be more conducive to brewing coffee, rather than maybe some cheap pot metal or something that it could be made with, or something that just easily blackens on the bottom.
This piece wasn't exactly cheap though.
No, and roughly it was about I want to say between 130 and 150. It's not a cheap.
That's not cheap.
Piece of brewing apparatus.
It looks nice. It doesn't look cheap.
No.
But compared to something like getting a Chemex, getting a V60.
A Hario V60 for like $12, $13.
Yeah. I think what this really would be useful for is, let's say you're out on a date. It comes to the end of the night. You're like, hey baby, you want to come into my house for some coffee? And she's like, I don't know. And you're like, listen, I got a siphon. She's like, oh, I thought you were some loser with a French press, but if siphon? right? That might be worth the money right there. Definitely will impress the girl of your dreams.
I might not be able to find too much disagreement with this particular assertion, but...
Because what else would you use it for?
I get the impression too that even in its original, what would you say, instantiation or invention, when the Frenchman who saw the business potential in this 10 years later decided to make it into a business potential, it had to have just been for the clout. Like I can't see this being more than that.
I wouldn't be surprised if the whole reason for inventing this was to impress a girl.
That could very well be the case. We'll never know.
But to get back on track, this whole thing is just such a hassle to use. It's impractical. The coffee that it makes isn't particularly special at all.
No, but here's the thing too, I will say, is that I can taste the potential in this, as in the front end is nasty, metallic, etc.
Yeah.
But the back palate is clear, it's lucid, I taste every note of the coffee very clearly. It's just it's gotta be the metal it's made with. Because the actual process itself does work. And so if you can find a better coffee siphon, which we will be doing more coffee siphon reviews on the channel, if you can find a better coffee siphon, which we will also be seeking out to do, then I would highly recommend doing a bit of research and investigating that. Maybe one that is made with tempered glass or some other material. But I've just noticed every time that I've tried to use, and Sergey's tried to use a metal coffee apparatus to brew something, it's usually not very successful.
The problem with trying to use a higher end one of these is if you buy like a legitimate one, European made, whatever, handmade, what do you think that's gonna cost you?
Right.
It's gonna cost you like 500 bucks, maybe $1,000. If you guys wanna see that, feel free to subscribe, and donate.
I mean, have you tried a coffee siphon? Have you ever made it? Let us know in the comments below what you think. Do you want to see more videos like this? Go ahead and let us know as well. Really, at the end of the day, all that we ask of you is to please, for heaven's sake, keep using your whole brain.